Chapter 20. How to place an executive candidate and earn £30,000 from one introduction. The next business development approach that I am going to cover here is undoubtedly the most challenging and yet rewarding of all the techniques that will be covered in this business startup program. This technique requires you to source and register a senior executive from your CV database and then market that candidate into prospective clients. The art of cold calling is 80% attitude versus 20% skills. To help get the attitude correct, you will need to follow a script outlining what you are going to say to your client regarding your candidate's suitability for their vacancy, especially highlighting the benefits of seeing your candidate for an immediate interview. Practice this script a few times before contacting your client. Smile when you dial. Be confident. If you are nervous, stand up and talk to the client. This makes breathing a lot easier. 50% of what people say on the phone is not heard, so speak up. Getting past the receptionist or gatekeeper. Some receptionists can be very intimidating. It is increasingly common practice in the UK for receptionists and PAs to block incoming calls. Accordingly, they will ask everyone who calls for their name and where they're calling from. Be proactive. Tell them your name quite authoritatively before being asked it. And just say it's your first name. Can you put me through to Bob Stephen, please? Thank you. Believe it or not, just by saying thank you, more times than not, the receptionist will put you through. If the receptionist asks what is the call concerning, simply say, I'm phoning in connection with the implementation of strategic policies across the business with regards to succession planning. So can you just put me through again, please? Thank you. The more senior the person you're calling, the harder they will be to reach. Being at the least polite and the best charming to receptionists and PAs will only help your cause. Once you are through to the decision maker, ask how convenient is it to talk. Not is it convenient to talk, as they'll simply say no. When you ask how convenient it is to talk, they will usually reply, what is the call concerning, giving you a chance to talk to the client about your candidate. Use the same profile introduction technique we spoke about earlier. First, start by informing the client of your candidate's wow factor, the immediate benefits he can bring to their company. Second, the candidate's notable successes or achievements. And finally, why you are recommending them to the company. Then say to the client, my candidate is available for interview Wednesday afternoon or Friday morning. When would you like to see them? If the client at this stage has not interrupted you, then there is a strong likelihood that he is interested in meeting your candidate. Then all you simply need to do is to follow the 30 steps of the interview process found in your training manual. The fee charged on vacancies of £100,000 plus is 30%. So if you are successful in this approach, your fee to the client will be a whopping £30,000. Let's face it, canvassing is part of the job that most recruiters dislike the most. In fact, they'll usually do almost anything to avoid it. And yet we all know that sales activity is critical to the success of a recruitment business. So why do new starters tend to procrastinate when it comes to prospecting? Although people don't like to admit it, the main thing that holds people back is fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. The truth is that fear is normal and healthy emotion. It's good to be afraid. In dangerous situations, it keeps us safe. However, sometimes we experience an exaggerated amount of fear that is inappropriate to the situation. Think about it. Cold calling is not a life and death experience. It's okay to feel a bit nervous about making cold calls. Any athlete will tell you that adrenaline can help you to perform at your peak. Besides, courage is about taking action in spite of fear. The key to getting yourself to take action is to change the way you feel about picking up the phone. Firstly, stop worrying about being perfect. People can put so much pressure on themselves to perform, no wonder they're reluctant to pick up the phone. It's called performance anxiety. Take the pressure off yourself. As Woody Allen once said, 80% of success is just showing up. Just by getting yourself to follow through and make your sales calls, you've succeeded. The most successful people are the ones who are willing to make mistakes. The only way you cannot make a mistake is if you never take any action whatsoever. When taking a vacancy, always take a full and accurate job description of the work required and provide a suitable candidate within a specific timescale. The process of taking an accurate job description is covered in depth in your training manual.